It has been a rough week for the stock market amid the fears about the coronavirus. The Dow and the S&P 500 were both down 10% just this week, amid fears that the virus is going to become a global pandemic. On this week's episode, let's take a closer look at the coronavirus and how business and politics all come together under this healthcare crisis. I'm your host, Jared Dyson, and this is the Closet Conservative Podcast. As I mentioned in the opening, it's really been a bad week for the markets. Not just U.S. markets. Globally, there's just been a rough week for the markets, but specifically here in the U.S., coronavirus or COVID-19 has really become a big scare for everyone. Now, if you go to the CDC website, they have almost like a fill-in color map of the countries where cases have been reported, and it's really starting to fill up. There are 15 confirmed cases right now in the United States that are not tied back to China, to Wuhan, and to the cruise ship. 12 of them were travel related, but 3 of them have been spread person to person, and that's the greatest fear. The fear is that as this starts transmitting person to person, it's going to eventually develop into a pandemic. Why? Well, they don't really know how the disease spreads. They've got some ideas, but there's really a lot of concern about incubation times, symptoms. It's a long story. You can go to the CDC website and read a lot more about it if you're interested to know. Widespread diseases are nothing new for our world. We've had a lot of them throughout history. In 1350, where there was the Black Death that killed a third of the world's population. In 1665, the bubonic plague killed 20% of the population of London. In 1855, the bubonic plague again killed more than 15 million people throughout all of Asia. In 1918, the Spanish flu killed 50 million people worldwide. In 1957, the Asian flu killed 1.1 million people globally. Even as recently as 2009, we had the H1N1 flu pandemic with over 60 million cases and over 12,000 deaths. Now, granted, the deaths in that case were not as high as the ones from 1957 and prior. Obviously, healthcare has come a long way. So I don't believe we'll ever see a situation in this one where we're going to see millions of people die. But it is important that we share the information about the disease and help people understand how it spreads and how it is contracted. But I believe there's a lot of media hype with this. Some of the hype is due to the unknown. It started in China, and we all know China's not 100% honest. They've had a lot of issues with reporting. We're really not sure if the death toll is accurate or not. Symptoms have ranged from minor and up to death. It ranges a great range, but we've had a lot of other medical conditions that have contributed to this. While I believe it's very important to share the information about these diseases publicly, I do believe the media has used it as a political tactic, and it seems that I'm not the only one. Donald Trump Jr. commented about this on Fox and Friends on Friday morning. Democrats were critical of the administration's request for money. From the day that the Trump administration went and said we need these couple of $1 billion, they were critical, said, oh, that's not enough, it'll never be enough. The virus hasn't even spread as widely as they expect. We don't know what we're going to need. This is just a frontline initial request. But the Democrats are already criticizing it, saying, well, Trump has just failed to attack the coronavirus. Now, I don't agree that Democrats want people to die, but I have no doubt in my mind that the Democrats are celebrating the economic downturn that's coming about because of the coronavirus. They needed some type of help to have any chance of beating Trump in 2020. They were not going to beat Trump with Bernie Sanders on their ticket. They were going to struggle to beat him with a moderate on the ticket. I'm sure that they're hoping that this virus can continue to have its effects on the economy and help them with a chance to win the election. So in response, the media obviously hypes this virus up. They are covering this virus in ways that they would not cover any other story. Obama could do something miraculous, and they wouldn't even give it as much attention as they are this virus. This is almost as good as a Trump statement to the media. They're just going overboard with a lot of their coverage. The virus is going to have effects on business. Obviously, you can't close areas where we have high manufacturing and we rely on a lot of resources to produce things even outside of that area. You can't close them for 2 weeks and expect there's going to be no effects. Production's decreased. Goods availability is going to decrease. We know this has effects on business. Apple has come out and said it. Microsoft has come out and said it. These companies rely on high-tech circuit boards and other technical instruments that come from that area. They're just not getting those resources, so it's going to have effects on business. We should do our part to control this virus, but we shouldn't be politicizing it. But that's exactly what the left wants to do. Democrats are going to celebrate the hit to the stock market that takes away millions of dollars from hard-working Americans. Democrats are going to cry in the media about the unknown just so they can take a shot at President Trump. I expect there's going to be some issues with the coronavirus, but I also think that our health system in the United States is going to be resilient. I believe we have one of the best healthcare systems in the world. If you don't believe me, I'm sure that you could go to China right now and exchange your healthcare over there and go to the doctor the once a week that you're allowed to. We can go to the doctor whenever we're sick. Whenever we feel like we need to see a doctor, we can simply pick up the phone, call, and make an appointment. A lot of people, you can even go on your phone. Pick up your phone, you tap a button, and you're instantly face-to-face with a physician that can treat your concern or talk to you about your worry. Yes, this can be worse than the flu, but we really need to talk about the facts. Just like the flu, if you're healthy, you're probably going to recover. That's according to the CDC website. Thousands of people have had the disease and have fully recovered. It highlights the importance of taking care of yourself. That's something we seem to struggle with sometimes in our country, myself included. I'm not sitting here acting like I'm perfect. We do not know all the details of the virus. We do not know how much it's going to affect us, so it's really hard to assume that the request for the response aid is appropriate. We just need to see where we go. I think it was a valid request to start with, but then the Democrats again. What is valid with the Democrats other than attacking Trump? Certainly gives you a lot of food for thought. There's going to be a lot of interesting things coming out about the coronavirus in the next few weeks. Be sure to pay attention to our website. We're covering the coronavirus and we're keeping you up to date, making sure you have all the details, all the information, so you're able to understand and have logical conversations with these liberals. It's something they don't understand. Before I go, though, we shared some exciting things that were coming to the Closet Conservative back around the end of the year. So I'm excited to announce that our website is officially changing, and the new name is The Liberty Loft. We feel like this change allows us to focus on things that are more than just the Closet Conservative. The Closet Conservative podcast will continue. It's a distribution of the Liberty Loft now. We have more podcasts in the work. I'm excited to announce that Eric will most likely be moving into the Closet Conservative podcast in the coming weeks. I will be moving into a longer form podcast. We'll share a lot of that information with you in the coming weeks, so be sure to stay tuned. Be sure to head over to thelibertyloft.com. That website will be changing over this weekend on Saturday, so maybe by the time you're listening to this, you can head over to our website, check it out. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast if you haven't. Scroll down, hit subscribe. You can also, on our website, you can subscribe for our articles. Stay tuned. There's some great things coming this year. We're really excited about what's happening. And remember, don't be afraid of the coronavirus. They don't exactly know what all's going on, but even if you do get it, chances are you're going to recover and be just fine.
This is the Closet Conservative Podcast. All material copyright The Closet Conservative. Music courtesy of Greg Shields Music. Remember to subscribe to our podcast to receive all the latest episodes. We can also be found online at closetconservative.net or on Facebook and Twitter.